Good day, good morning, good evening from wherever you are listening in from or listening into or wherever you subscribe from. My name is Dion and this is yet another episode of Not Yet Mature. Today we will be speaking about one of the most renowned topics in the world in terms of coaching, business coaching, life coaching, however you want to see this, performance coaching. We are talking about confidence. Now, you might think, I know what this is. This is about introverts and extroverts. Or you might think, I've heard the topic before and no, thank you, not for me. Or you might think, hey, I'm confident enough. This is not for me. I encourage you. You've never heard a spin on the topic like today. So if you guys are ready, then I am ready. And let's hit it up with some confidence. So welcome to another episode of Not Yet Mature. My name is Dion and today I'm speaking about a subject that is so close to my heart. And it is something that I've almost want to say preached. I've taught on it. I've done seminars, webinars. I've coached various internal teams of confidence because how it links on sales, how it links on profitability, productivity, even with life coaching and one-to-one sessions. This is one of the biggest topics that I always include no matter what I do. So confidence is something that el confidento, or I don't speak Spanish, I only realize that now, but confidence is something that is really in essence something that can uplift your lifestyle. Okay, it can change you in your career, in whatever you do, and I'm not talking about just, telling you, you are good enough, you need to be confident, or hey, just suck it up, you need to be confident, or hey, try arrogance, it's the same as confidence. That's not what I'm talking about today. So we're going to look about, in depth more, only on a specific topic, which today is, of course, confidence. And yeah, I just want to start off with saying one of the biggest, and we'll actually talk about a lot of society misleadings or society errors or wrong teachings out there, or preconceived ideas, or, we're going to talk about a lot of society errors on this topic. And one of the first things that I want to basically bust, or I want to just, bust the myth. Now I'm thinking about Mythbusters. I'll watch an episode later. In any case, so one of the biggest myths out there in terms of confidence is that confidence means that you need to be an extrovert. You need to take up the microphone and be able to speak in front of people because that reflects confidence. And if you are introvert or if you aren't able to do that, it means that you are not confident at all. And that is one of the biggest lies that society can teach you. Okay, that is one of the biggest lies that people can tell you from a leading point of view, from a leadership point of view, from, any type of view, to tell people that, hey, just because you can't speak or because you've got sad moments or flaws or mistakes, that means that you are not confident. Okay, so that is really something that I want you just to open your heart, open your mind, and trust me when I say that is the biggest lie. Okay, but I'm going to prove it. So there are a couple of points that I want to start off when we start about talking what is confidence. So number one, if you're ready, have a pen and paper available. If you still use pen and papers, but in any case, if you don't, then you're not confident. Just joking. So one of the biggest things that what is confidence, the first thing that I want to speak about is confidence is owning up to your natural potential. Okay, so if you've done any type of self-reflection, if you've done any leadership course, like I offer the LNP, the Leadership Networking Program, if you attended anything of that, like one of the first things that you do with self-awareness or reflection is actually to just break down in knowing what you know and knowing what you don't know, and breaking down what are your strengths and weaknesses. And so you naturally know what you're naturally good at, or what you naturally know, who you naturally are. Now, don't get me wrong, the nature of you will always adapt, will always change, will always improve, will always grow, will always innovate. There will always be changes to that. So it is kind of a consistency of you checking back frequently to know that what your natural potential is. And first of all, you need to own up to that. You need to trust that when I know something, I know it. When I'm good at something, I'm good at it. You need to own up to your natural potential. And potential doesn't mean that you are great at it already. It means that there's a possibility or a likelihood or a probability that you can master something. Okay, that is potential. So naturally, you've got the capability, the God-given talents, the skill set to own up to something, or to make part of your potential, okay, your natural potential. It's very important to remember that potential is not necessarily something that you've mastered, okay? So it's owning up to your natural potential. Up next, you need to know the areas where you lack in, okay? Funny, Dion, how you start confidence in telling me that I need to know where I suck, because that's a confidence breakdown. No. You see, knowing the areas where you lack in, and there will be a lot, and your list most probably will be longer in areas that you lack in, because very often we doubt ourselves and we don't want to be arrogant, and we'll get to arrogance now, or we're being too modest or something like that. But your list of things that you lack in might just grow bigger and bigger in time, or it might grow smaller and smaller in time. But if you know the areas that you lack in, you need to remember one thing. You need to be open to input and feedback in those areas. So what I'm trying to say is, if you know you lack in something, you need to be able to either ask for opinion and feedback or input, or just people give opinion, feedback, and input without you asking. But you need to be able so that others speak into that. Now, when I say others speak into that or give you input or feedback, I'm not saying about just taking it to break you down. Not talking about they affirming, yes, you are in fact weak on this, so please don't do it ever. And you think, how did that add to my confidence? No. I'm talking about talking people that has value to give input on that on that subject, on that area that I lack in. Now, here's the cool thing. If I know that, and I'm open to get input and feedback on those subjects or in those areas that I lack, I need to sit with two decisions. Number one, I need to either upskill it or I need to let it go. Now, upskilling it is very easy. If this is the area that I lack and it carries weight, potential, or purpose, something that I'm going to need later in my life, I need to upskill it. For example, I can't play the guitar very good. And I'm open to confess it, and I'm open to get praise on the feedback and input and everything on that matter. But I want to play in the church band, so I need to know that I eventually need to upskill this. So I need to make the decision, hey, Dion, this can't stay here. I need to upskill it. Or on the same hand, I can't play piano. My wife is the one that plays piano very, very well. I can't play it. But there's no purpose or need or desire for me to play the piano, because something, the weight that it carries is not always significant in the sense of what purpose it is. Maybe the purpose is just something that I want to learn, but I don't want to, so I let go on it. Now, letting go is very important to remember. Letting go doesn't mean I just throw it out the window. Letting go means I shifted my mindset to understand that this is a weakness of mine. It carries no purpose. I've got no purpose to upskill it. So I might always walk past the piano, always want to try, maybe later on need to try it, but for now, it doesn't break down my confidence, and that is the mindset of letting it go. It doesn't mean I'm letting it go and it's just out the water. In some things it might be that you're just letting it go. It means that letting it go with your mindset of this can't carry me down in my natural potential or my purpose or anything, because there's no significance for me in it. So upskill or let go is simply a mindset that I need to take action on it and be confident that I'm happy with the decision I made. If you need to let go and it bothers you the whole time, then ask yourself, why do I need to let this go? And because clearly it's important for me, and then can I just rather upskill it? And vice versa. I want to upskill it, but why? Does it not take up all my time, my effort, breaking down my confidence? Is it something that I'm just not naturally good at, never will be, and also don't need to be, so I can just let it go? Up next, you need to remember that never think you are not good enough as a person. Now, I'm going to get quite biblical on a couple of things here. So first of all, we know that we are created in His image. That means we know from the beginning that surely we are good enough as a person. And I want to tell you something. A baby that is born has never been unsure of its cry. Never. Never came out lacking the confidence, never unsure to cry and to just, raise a voice and be shy of who or what it is. And think about it. It might sound like a stupid example, but think about it as follows. A baby that is born, a newborn baby, unsure of its cry, just, confident in every aspect, has an infinite list of skills or areas that they lack. They haven't trained anything. They haven't mastered anything. There's not even a natural potential other than being created in the Creator's image. There's nothing. And their list of pros, if you want to put it like that, includes pooping, crying, and drinking milk. They've got the shortest list of pros ever and an infinite list of potential or areas which they lack in, but it doesn't take away their confidence. So you were born with an infinite list of lackings in your life, things that you don't master, things that you're not good at. You've been born with that infinite list, and from the moment you were born, you shortened that list every single day, and you will keep on shortening that list. Even though more things are exposed, that list will be shortening or shortened because you either mastered it, you upskilled it, or you let it go. Now, it's very important what confidence is not. It's not arrogance. Very, very often we see people being arrogant and we think, oh, I wish I could be that confident. Look at that guy. He's just praising himself or herself. And that's not confidence. Paul tells us the opposite of arrogance is being humble or humility or modesty. And because humility or humbleness and modesty are both opposites of arrogance, the society teaches us that humility and modesty are synonymous for the reason that they are opposite of arrogance. Let me explain that better. You get boiling water. Lukewarm water is the opposite of boiling water. Frozen water, frozen substance, liquid, is the opposite of boiling water. Cold water is the opposite of boiling water. Yet the three of those are not synonymous with one another. And the same comes with humility or being humble and modesty. Although both of them are opposites of arrogance, they're not synonymous with one another. You see, if you trained hard for a marathon or triathlon, I'm in triathlon, so I'm going to use the example. If I trained hard, for example, for my Ironman, and I've done well, and people come to me and they say, "Hey, Dion, phenomenal times," or you finished, we're so proud of you, or you did great, or you can relate to anything that you put your mind to it. If you think about it, our natural, because we don't want to be arrogant, our natural response is to say, no, I really didn't do good at all, I had a cramp, or this happened, or that happened. And we think that modesty is the right way to go because we don't want to be arrogant. That modesty gives praise to nothing. Not to the effort that I put in, not to God giving me that talents, giving me the situation, not the weather being great that day, not the fellowship I had with people, not the fun I had with people, training, not the pleasure I had in finishing, anything. That modesty gives praise to nothing. And we often think modesty and humility or being humble is the same, but humbleness, which is, as a matter of fact, a biblical trait, looks as follows. Humbleness is accepting praise or appraisal where it's given and giving that praise or appraisal where it's due. So if someone, for the same example, needed to tell me, Dion, you did so great, my response will not be, yes, I did, I'm good. What did you think? Because that would be arrogant. My response will be, you know what, I put in the effort. Or I was blessed to be able to get off work and train. Or you know what, God gave me this opportunity in terms of my health, in terms of my fitness, or I worked towards that. So automatically, I'm confident yet humble because I'm accepting the praise and diverting it to where it's needed. If I only keep the praise to myself, I fall in the danger of being arrogant. And if I don't take the praise at all, neither divert it, I'm modest. Because I'm modest, I was deceitful. I killed it. I nipped it in the bud. I have a friend. She was in an accident. There was a huge testimony in life, a huge change, and really God just saved her life. And she recently got back into training, and every time you appraise, because she does have phenomenal times, every time you appraise it, her honors, she doesn't want to be arrogant, so her answer is always, you know what, no, I'm not good at all, or no, at the end of the day, it was really not, I just walked, it was not a good time, or whatever, and stop there. And I thought to myself, where are you giving God praise for this? Where are you taking the praise for your hard work and effort, for your recovery, for your rehab, for your doctors involved? You see, there's a difference between humility or being humble and modesty, and confidence needs humbleness. And there's no room for modesty in that. And just because humbleness and modesty are both opposites of arrogance, it does not mean they're synonymous. There's a huge difference between the two, and to be deceitful in that kills that praise. And if you never get praise for anything, I'm not talking about stopping it there and keeping it for yourself, but if you never get it or receive it, you will never be able to give it. And if you never give it, what confidence does it give to anything? So it might be a lot biblical, but it is really, whether what religion you are, it makes sense that builds up confidence. Up next, you need to know your SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, I can't even remember, reachable, and timely. You need to know your SMART goals for the long term and short term, because knowing your confidence or knowing your SMART goals for the short term and the long term will actually assist in your confidence buildup. Now, evaluating the short term and long term is very important, because if you have your SMART specific goals, and if you know your short term and long term, and you need to evaluate them, then you need to know the following: know what you work with and why. In your personal life, in your career, in your relationship, in everything that you do, know what you are working with and why. Know what you are working towards and why. Because if you do those two things, you will notice a trend in between. And the trend in between is there are missing elements. And for you to get those missing elements might not always come from yourself. Because, let's face it, owning up to your natural potential, you've already checked that off the list. So if you have your short specific goals and your long-term specific goals, and you know what you work with and why, and towards and why, the missing elements meaning usually that you don't have it. So you can try to upskill it or fill it in or let it go. But those are usually elements that exposes you to know that you need to partner with these missing elements. In terms of emotional missing elements, personal elements, work-related elements, any type of elements. But there are elements missing that you don't necessarily bring to the table. And if you don't partner with elements to fill those gaps, that surely is going to break down your confidence at some point. So you need to get to know those elements. Now, to know those elements, we look at leadership styles. Now, this leadership styles, usually we look at people, but we forget that circumstances, situations, elements, emotional elements, everything like that falls into a specific leadership style as well. And if you think about it, so I'm going to talk about the leadership styles now and mention it. But if you think, okay, I already know the leadership styles are coercive or democratic or affiliative or, whatever. And I know this is my personality. I'm this leadership style, or I don't know, but through a quick analysis, you can find that out. So I know I adapt better to this. And you think automatically need to turn to that leadership style all the way? You're going to have a confidence ceiling that you're going to bump. Let me give you an example. If I look at a business point of view and I look at finances in my own life, in business life, in anything related to that, I turn to partners with a specific, or situations with a specific leadership style. But when I go to coaching, influence, relationship, I look at other leadership styles. If I'm only comfortable at going on for one, then I'm going to hit that. With my finances, I need to be strict. It's black and white. There's, if someone needs to tell me that, hey, everything will be okay and that's a leadership style that I like, fine. But if everyone tells me that my finances and surely I'm heading downwards, what good would that bring, and what would it damage my confidence later on in knowing what I partner with and who I partner with and what situations I partner with to get where I am now to where I want to be? One of the first leadership styles you have is coercive. This is demand that people comply. Drive to achieve self-control, and the key phrase of the person or the situation is usually do what I do. And usually this has a negative impact. And that's fine, but just imagine once again, if I really know what is missing on my path and know what I want to partner with, there are certain elements that might rather need this input or this specific. Doesn't mean on everything. That's why you are specific with your goals and your long terms and short terms. Up next, we have authoritative. The situation or person or environment usually leads with a clear vision. Self-confidence promotes empathy. The key phrases usually come with me. And this usually has got the most positive impact. Just think about your own life. Think about certain things that can relate to your missing elements that needs authoritativeness in a leadership style development in that purpose. Up next, we have affiliative. This is usually the situation or the person that creates harmony, builds bonds, good communication builder. Key phrase is people come first, and this is a positive impact. Now, my finances, I might not need this person, but just imagine on customer relationships. So if in my business, one of the key things that I need to implement or approach or define better or partner with, when it comes to customer relationships, I would want to actually promote with affiliativeness, because this creates harmony, builds bonds, good communication builder, and people come first. This is a positive impact. Exactly what I want my customers to experience. Then we've got democratic. One of my previous podcasts, I talked about being too democratic. So democratic is something that I love, because the situation or the person or the leadership style promotes consensus through participation. It creates collaboration. It's usually a team spirit. And the key phrase is, what do you think? And it's got a positive impact. But wait, just stop there for a moment. If I turn to democracy the whole time in a leadership style, then I might be kissing ass or brown-nosing, or however you want to see that. If I'm in a C-level meeting board and my attitude the whole time is, what do you think? And others people's attitude the whole time towards me is, what do you think? What does it matter if I'm in sales and I'm asking the marketing executive or the legal executive, what do you think? That's not the best style for that purpose, although it's one of the most positive impacts that you get. Another example is the pace-setting leadership style. Now, this environment or person or opportunity usually sets high performance standards, drive to achieve, key phrases, do as I do, and it usually has got a negative impact. But once again, in sales, if it's a specific target orientated task, might be a good place to partner with. So these are things that you decide for yourself. What is the best for the partnering opportunity so that you can have confidence in why you choose it and have confidence to uplift yourself in that situation. Coaching is another trait. It's actually the last main leadership one. It's the situation that develops skills in other people. Developing others' self-awareness, the key phrase is try this. It's got a positive impact. With legal compliance, everything black and white, finances, I wouldn't partner just with coaching people. Imagine if people tell me, try this, and I end up in jail or bankrupt. I need people to tell me, do this in that scenario. So what I have now, and what do I need to have then? That's the question you ask to build the path. Now, it's important to understand the following. Your goals, what you need to have then, should never be contradictory with your confidence or your values. Your goal should never break down your confidence. It should never be contradictory to your values as a person. It might be a short-term success, or you feel that was what's needed, but it will reach up on you and it will be devastating. So always align your goals to suit, uplift, and complement your confidence and to promote your values. Your work life and personal life should also carry the same values. Confidence should be built on something, a value that is sustainable, not on something that can change or fluctuate. Okay? So if you think about it once again from a biblical point of view, because a lot of people come to me and they say, hey Dion, you said confidence should not be built on something or a value. You said that confidence should be built on something, a value that's sustainable, and not on someone or something that can change and fluctuate. Then why do you say that you need to tap into the confidence you were born with in God's image? Well, I said, well, first of all, God has never changed, never fluctuated. That is consistency. And that is exactly, if it's consistency, it means it's sustainable. And if it's sustainable, that's exactly where you should build your confidence on. So always remember, confidence should be built on something, a value that is sustainable, not on someone or something that can change or fluctuate, because it might be working now, but tomorrow it might not be there. So the last elements that I want to discuss is the keys to sustainable confidence, because if I need my confidence to be built on something sustainable, I need to know what is the keys to sustainable confidence. Here they are. Tap into the confidence you were born with. I don't need to explain that again. Your list of flaws, your list of lackings were infinite from the moment you were born with. Your list of pros, the things that you're good at, your natural potential, at 3. Pooping yourself. I think for a baby, that's a pretty good pro. Drinking milk from your mother or from the bottle. And crying. That was the only 3 things. It doesn't mean you were not born with confidence. You were never unsure of your cry. Tap into that confidence you were born with always. Know your strengths and weaknesses. It is important to know what you know and know what you don't know. And there's nothing wrong with it. Just make the conscious decision on the things that you don't know, the things that you lack, the things that you're not good in, to either upskill it or let it go. Remember, letting it go is a mindset. It's not just flushing out the door, ignoring that it exists, because it will creep up on you. You will use that card at you, your work, your society, even relationships gone bad, people will use that card. Letting it go means it carries no significant value, and you're fine with the fact that it is something that you lack in. Either that you can't upskill or not willing to upskill. But that means surely that you don't need to upskill it. Expect success. If you want sustainable confidence, you need to expect success. You will never take on anything if you don't expect it to work. Now, success can mean even you fail in something. There is always some success to take from it. It might be from just, that courage that you took that step. A new obstacle that you overcome, a new client that you scored, a new something. There is always some success that will come even from the failures. So expect it. Trust in your capabilities. Trust in what you were born to do. Trust in your natural potential. Embrace the unknown. There will always be factors that's unknown. Embrace it. Take the risks. Just be accountable. Take the jump. Take the leap. But be accountable for it. If it fails, take it upon you and learn from it. Trust your capabilities. Expect the successes that came from that failure. And if it succeeds, once again, be humble. Take it. Take that appraisal and give it where it's needed. Learn to receive praise. And know that modesty is not humility. And then the last one is practice confidence. Confidence is an exercise or training. And because it is an exercise or training, it means that you can practice it. Confidence is something that we were all born with. Do not let society steal it from you. Take this as a life lesson, a business lesson, a productivity lesson, and tap into that confidence that you were born of so that you can always know that you are the ultimate you and you can succeed in anything that you put your mind to it. And if you can't, then it means that it's a trait that you lack and you should either upskill it or let it go. Always promote your confidence and do not let anyone or anything steal that from you. Until next time, thank you for tuning in with Not Yet Mature. Bye.